Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Online Footprint Project. I'm your host, Ross McFarlane. Thank you so much for investing your time with us here today. If you're new to the Online Footprint Project, or OFP, we interview successful business owners and share their stories about how they got started to where they are today. We also make sure that they share actionable value so you can start applying it to your business today. Now, I'm big on feedback, so I'd love to hear from you as to what you thought of the show, what you liked, what you didn't like. Please leave me an email, ross@rossmcfarlane.com, or leave some comments on our YouTube channel.
This episode brought to you by funnelrevision.com. Do you want the freedom that comes from more sales? We help automate your business, much like this message. Unlimited funnel builds with your exclusive 1-hour use of the team each day. Click funnel experts, graphic designers, expert copywriters, and chatbot engineers. We do it all. Enjoy the freedom of Funnel Revision taking care of everything, so you don't have to. Check out funnelrevision.com today and enjoy the freedom of automating your business.
Let's go! Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Online Footprint Project. I'm your host, Ross McFarlane. Thanks so much for investing your time with us here today. So super excited, Jason Grossman's come on. He's been doing some phenomenal things. In Jason's book, From the Street to a Millionaire, he shares his wins and more importantly, his losses and mistakes he made since dropping out of high school, being kicked out of home, living on the streets and overdosing on heroin. He helps others create financial freedom, living a dream lifestyle that allows him to travel the world. And most importantly, create a charity organization and businesses that contributes to making a difference worldwide. So he's launching a new book, From the Streets to a Millionaire. He's actually sold 10,000 copies on Amazon. So phenomenal stuff there. So Jason, thank you so much for coming on today and sharing your story.
Ross, it's an absolute pleasure. Thanks so much for inviting me. And I just want to say, for those of you that do follow Ross or you're listening into what Ross does, he's doing some really cool things. And
Thanks,
the greatest thing about Ross that I picked up pretty quickly is that he actually cares about you guys. He genuinely cares about adding value and impacting lives. So you guys really are blessed to have someone like Ross in your corner. And again, thanks for having me, Ross. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, thank you, Jason. That means a lot. So I do appreciate that. So yeah, man, I know your story pretty well, but I'd love to share with all the listeners at home. So let's just jump right into it. How did you get started with From the Streets to a Millionaire? Because that's crazy story in itself.
Yeah, it really is cool. And so I think we all have that story of adversity, pain, and suffering. And like a lot of people, I was a bit of a douchebag growing up. So I was kicked out of home, dropped out of school, and next thing I know, I was hanging around with the wrong group of people, and I was living on the streets as a heroin addict. Overdosed 3 times, and the third time I was clinically dead for nearly 3 minutes. And that's when I realized, most of you guys right now, if you're listening to me or watching me now, that I was at a crossroads. That I could keep doing what I was doing, get the same result, and pain and suffering for me, I would have probably ended up in prison or dead. Or I can make a decision to really do. I don't know about you guys. I've always felt like I was meant to do something special ever since I was a young age, and I have a feeling that Ross probably the same. And that's because we are. I truly believe we're here for a reason. So I kind of made a decision there and then to get my life together. And what got me off the streets and literally saved my life was actually personal training. I became a personal trainer after that, and then I spent a decade as a personal trainer. I loved it. It was my magnificent obsession. I was the busiest personal trainer in Western Australia for nearly a decade.
Yeah, well.
But the problem is that if you don't work, you don't get paid. And I was hungry. I'm ambitious. I want to help more people. And I launched my business about 8 years ago, and I've had multiple businesses since then. So.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. Because personal training, you help so many people and you actually see the changes. So, if you're a very visual person, you can actually see the differences in your clients and just know that their energy levels increase and things like that. Fitness is such a phenomenal thing that many don't leverage. And so, it's fantastic that, people like yourself and other phenomenal trainers actually help others, reach their goals and move forward. So that's cool, man. Yeah.
Awesome.
So yeah, from the personal training. So how did you then progress into owning multiple businesses and publishing several books?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, awesome. Well, so from there, I kind of made this decision to launch my business. So I launched a health and wellness company, and we're based in Victoria Park in Western Australia. We had 17 of us at head office. We had personal trainers, nutritionists, coaches. We did business coaching, website design. It was really cool. By the age of 31, I was a self-made millionaire the first time. I had the success on the surface, but I truly believe success without fulfillment is actually failure. And so my biggest goal in life was I want to be a millionaire by 30. And I just missed that. I was 31. But the problem was my brain went, okay, cool. I've done that. What now? So I kind of, after 12 years of working my ass off, no breaks, no holidays, was diagnosed with glandular fever and then chronic fatigue.
Yeah.
And I burnt out, ended up overweight, ended up, because I was neglecting my family, my friends, and my loved ones because I was just focused on the business, spending 120 hours a week behind an office desk.
Yeah, well.
And so I actually made a decision to go completely online about 6 years ago. I spent about 6 months in bed, really ill with chronic fatigue. And I used to say when people told me as a personal trainer they had chronic fatigue or glandular fever, I just used to call them weak-minded. I didn't realize it was an actual thing. And for anyone that does work hard, you'll know burnout is a real thing. But within, I moved from the west coast of Australia, Perth, over to the east coast to be with a girl. And I went from an income of $25,000 a week in my pocket down to $300 a week and into $218,000 debt. This is just over 6 years ago. And so I was borderline bankrupt. I organized a debt repayment plan. I had to pay $2,000 a week minimum of my debts, and I had an income of $300. So I had to move pretty quick, but I was in bed, bedridden. Have you ever been so tired you struggle to get up out of bed and just go to the bathroom? That was me, right? Yeah. So, but within just 9 months of that, I still built a 7-figure online business. We did online personal training. We currently, we do business coaching for fitness business owners, business coaching for online coaches, wealth coaching, mindset coaching, etc. as well. And I did it. I did that. I got out of debt. I became a millionaire again about 9 months after that. And then we actually spent about 2.5 years straight just traveling the globe. It was phenomenal. Living at a 5-star hotels, traveling the globe, ticked off nearly 300 bucket list items. And then the year before last, so about 18 months ago from now, I made a decision to start growing again. And now, now we've been able to build a multi-million-dollar a year online coaching business. And, we're just getting started. I just published my second book. I've written 11 books in total now. And I got a third book being published later this year. We've launched a kids charity. We're building property portfolios. We're opening gyms. But my true passion, my true mission, I'm probably taking too much of this time here. But my goal, my purpose, my mission is I just want to help millions of people create financial freedom, live the life of their dreams, because there are so many people that are doing it hard. I remember being so broke, Ross, that I went to the cupboard, opened up the cupboard door, and all that was in there was a freaking bag of flour, right? And it was plain. Yeah. I poured it in a bowl, mixed some water in it, kneaded it, put it in the oven, cooked it, and called it damper and ate that for a week, right? We've all been so broke. If you're an entrepreneur, we know what the minute noodle or the mee goreng, or if you're in the US, the ramen noodle diet, right? But, when you make a decision, when you realize that it's your choice to be homeless, or your choice to be an addict, or your choice to even be depressed or to stay where you are, and you make a decision to turn around, that's my mission. I want to help millions of people live the life of their dreams. And I know it's a bit corny. And from the streets to a millionaire, again, we're launching a brand new audio version of that next week with a brand new bonus chapter on on the habits of happy millionaires and some other cool things as well. So I know I talk fast, but honestly, this is my passion. I live and breathe this. I can go lie on the beach all day, every day for the rest of my life. I still pull 120 hour work weeks because there's a lot to be done, a lot of lives to impact. So, yeah.
Phenomenal, man. That's fantastic. And don't worry about the speaking fast. I mean, all the listeners are used to my normal rate of tone.
You want to add as much value and squeeze as much juice and content and meat as possible. And obviously, this is an exciting topic, because if you're listening to this now, then that's great. You're in the top 2%. That means you're hungry. You want more. And, it's 10 times more important and powerful to make a decision and to have that hunger and drive than to know how to do it. You don't need to know how to do something. Once you make a decision, you have that desire and the hunger, everything else will come. So do I love this? I live and breathe this. This isn't just even my obsession. This isn't just my life or my career. This is my obsession. I live it. When I'm awake, I'm working out, or I'm traveling and bucket listing. That's life, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks again.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. So, I mean, with your book, like that's I'd love to get into that in a sec, but tell us about the children's charity that you just mentioned. I mean, that's really interesting.
Yeah, so a few years back, we launched a kids charity, and we did a bunch of charity boot camps. And so I do a lot of speaking. I travel and do a lot of speaking. I've just had about 12 months off speaking because next year I did 4 Aussie and New Zealand tours years in a row, but we're doing an Aussie New Zealand tour next year and a world tour the following year. So I've taken a bit of a hiatus the last 12 to 18 months from speaking in the charity, just to really get the businesses and everything going.
Yeah.
But yeah, we do a lot of stuff with kids. So, I mean, this Christmas we're doing a national Australian NZ charity drive to feed homeless people. I do a lot of speaking. I do a lot of work here in Queensland with kids. And so I love working with kids to help inspire them to get off the streets, to get off drugs, or hopefully help them avoid making those mistakes in the first place. So we've got some pretty big plans over the next 18 months to 2 years with charity, but especially specifically working with youth and kids, which is definitely my passion.
Yeah. Well, so Jason, for those listening that may struggle with dependence, whether it is alcoholism, a lot of entrepreneurs, it's, depression in entrepreneurs is very common, very, very common, just because of, there's so many ups and downs. For those that are suffering from some sort of dependence, what can you recommend for them to, I guess, get started to help pick the pieces back up?
Okay. So I guess the thing is like, I know what it's like. I was once diagnosed with clinical depression. You know what I mean? I have been an alcoholic. I have been a drug addict. I think the first thing, the first step in any kind of conscious change is awareness.
Yep.
You're aware of the fact that where you are is not where you want to be and you want some change. So you need to become aware of where you are, but also where you want to be. And then you got to make a decision that even though you might not know how it's going to happen, that if you want to climb Mount Everest, you need to make a decision that you want to climb Everest. You got to recognize, I'm at base camp. I want to go to the peak. I've never been to the peak. If I try to climb myself, I don't know what the terrain's like. I need a Sherpa. You go get a Sherpa, a business coach, a mentor, whatever, right? And then they help you. They map out the plan and they do it with you. That would be the first thing. So the first thing is that decision. The second thing is that the hardest part for me, like a lot of people, I get asked every day, like, we've got over 1 million followers online. Every day I'm asked by parents and people, like, how did I get off heroin? Because I went cold turkey. If you read my book,
yeah, wow. Okay.
There's axes and all kinds of, it's a pretty intense story. I went cold turkey, which was very, very difficult. But the first thing is, like, if I say that I am a smoker, then my behavior has to be in alignment and congruent with that. If I say I am homeless, I am overweight, I am whatever follows I am, the brain's like, okay, and then it has to, So the first thing, I'm not a heroin addict. I was using heroin up until now. I'm not obese. I was holding too much body fat up until now. I'm not a smoker. I was smoking too much up until now. And so you dissociate from that, because what that does is empowers you with the ability to have responsibility to do something about it. So now you can disagree with that or agree with that, but the fact is beliefs are not truth. They're choices. Yeah. And you can choose to believe that or not, but all I know is if you choose to believe that you can do something about it, then you can. So that would be the second thing. The third thing is you need to dissociate from people and environment. So, the best way to overcome depression, like, go to Hawaii and go surfing or something and be depressed. I challenge you. Yeah. I've been to Hawaii. We did 3 weeks in Honolulu, a week in Maui. Good luck being depressed in Hawaii, right? So you've got to change it, but you've also got to change the people you associate with. When I was a heroin addict, all my friends and family were also heroin addicts. I had to get them out of my life. The problem was all my friends and family, they're my loved ones.
Of course.
So that would be the 3 steps that I would, I did a lot of neuro-linguistic programming, and as Tony Robbins says, that, you want to change your focus and change your physiology. And that's cool short term, but you need to think long term as well. And I hope those 3 steps help.
Yeah, absolutely. Because your inner circle is so important. Many say that you are your closest 5 friends or with a family. And that's the thing. Sometimes if there's people in your life that are pulling you in one direction, it's so hard to separate from that and go in a different direction. But sometimes it's just for the absolute best. So, it takes such, willpower to be able to decide to make that decision and change. But, once you can do that, as you mentioned, it's all for the greater good. So that's awesome, man. From where you've come from to where you are now, you're doing some phenomenal things. So it's, really someone to look up to, so you're doing well, man. So let's jump into your book launch, because you're saying that the audio version's coming out soon. And I'd love to get into that, because we've got about 10 minutes left for those listening in. I know you're a busy man, so I'd love to, jump into that.
Yeah, awesome. So I actually wrote from the street. I spent about 300 hours writing from the streets to a millionaire across 900 countries it was 3 years ago, about 3 years ago. We've sold over 10,000 copies on Amazon. It sells for $23.99 USD. But for the last 9-10 months, I've been working on a book funnel so people can get the book for free. I want to get this book in front of 1 million people before I die, because I know that the lessons and the stories and the philosophies in this book will literally transform someone's life. It's pretty much an 11-week life coaching program. So there's a chapter on how to create financial freedom. There's a chapter on how to become an athlete of the mind and taking mental vitamins. There's a chapter on alkalizing and energizing and being and having the energy to do it. Obviously, my story's in there. There's the 4 keys to fulfillment. So it's about winning the inner game of fulfillment and happiness, as well as the outer game of finances, economy, and relationships. So it's the 6. And Richard Branson, I believe, is one of the very few people that's won both those games. But I read through the book earlier last year. I had the inspiration. I wanted to rewrite it because I've got a lot of new stories and new lessons, and I've added a brand new chapter, which is called the habits of happy millionaires. Keyword being happy, because I got mates that are worth 30, 40, 50 million dollars that are freaking miserable. It took me 3. It's easier to become a millionaire than to keep it. But I became a millionaire 3 times. Sorry, I became a millionaire first time, lost it all. Second time, lost it all. Now I'm a multi-millionaire. I will never lose it. I've worked out how to not lose it, right? So
good life skill.
yeah. But I'm super excited because I've totally rewritten the book, but we're not releasing the hard copy in the new version for 6 months.
Yep.
But I'm launching the book funnel in 2 weeks from now, which means I've purchased thousands of these. You just cover the shipping at $7 in the US or Australia, or $14 outside of. And I've covered the printing. I've covered and you can get it shipped to you. And there is an option to buy the new audio version on there as well. I've just spent a couple of days in the recording studio getting that done very, very professionally. I have a newfound sense of respect for recording artists because it's much more challenging than expected. So I'm super excited because we're forecasted to get that in front of anywhere from 2,000 to 5,000 people every month. And I expect to get that out to 100,000 people in the next 12 to 18 months on their doorstep. So, and I don't keep any money of it. Every dollar that we make from the profits and the funnels goes back into advertising to get it in front of more people. Yeah, and that's like my legacy to the world. And I truly believe, I know that people that read that book and apply it will live a much happier, healthier, successful life. And so the biggest thing is like the subtitles, how to turn adversity into massive success. Because the fact is as you listen to me now, maybe you are struggling financially. Maybe you've had your heart broken. Maybe you are overweight. Maybe you're so tired. This can be used in any context. It's about, okay, how do I climb out of this dark hole? And then also not only out of it, but climb the ladder of success and fulfillment. So, and I want to, that's my message to you guys today is, I don't know what you're going through right now. I don't know you. All I know is that if you're going through hell, the only way through is through, right? And if a high school dropout that was a heroin addict living on the streets that's been shot at, that's been stabbed, hit with sledgehammers and all kinds of things, can do what I'm doing. And I'm 28. Nah, jokes. I'm 38. I'm young, man. I'm still young and dumb, right? But if I can do it, then you can do it. And that's what this book does. It gives you the inspiration, gives you the hope, and it also gives you the tools and strategies. So I've had amazing feedback from the people that have purchased it. And I'm just really excited to be able to get it in the hands of people without them having to spend really any money on it. So,
yeah, that's cool. No, Jason, that's fantastic. So how do people get your book, or how do they, find it to be able to, read it?
Awesome. So I'm not sure when you're posting this or when people will have access to this.
This will be on iTunes today. I'll put up Facebook later as well. Typically I don't, but for this one, I'll put it up.
I believe it's Tuesday, the 4th of June, Tuesday the 4th or Tuesday the 4th, 5th of June. It will be live at streetstoamillionaire.com, streetstoamillionaire.com. If you go to that site and it's not up yet, that means it's not launched. So in a couple of weeks, you will be able to go to that website or you just cover the shipping and you can get this delivered to your doorstep. There's an option to buy the audio program. We've got a financial freedom kit, some other things that are completely optional. You can just cover the $7 and get that to your doorstep. In the meantime, you can grab it on Amazon if you just, you can search myself, Jason Grossman, or Streets to Millionaire. And it's $23.99 USD on Amazon in the meantime. If you can't wait 2 weeks, then you can do that as well.
Beautiful. Well, Jason, this has been a phenomenal chat. I really appreciate coming on and sharing your story. I know your book's going to help so many people, as it has already done. As you mentioned, 10,000 on Amazon already. So phenomenal effort. So I really appreciate you coming on. Before we go, is there anything any last message you'd like to share with the listeners today?
There sure is. The fact is that, look, here's the deal. We get one shot at this thing called life. Once you are dead, you are dead. You can't hit restart. It's over. It's not a computer game. If you do for the next 12 months what you've done the last 12 months, what's your life going to look like in a year from now? When you're a kid growing up, you had a dream to be a firefighter, to be a pilot, to be an astronaut. But somewhere along the way, you kept getting knocked down and your parents told you no, and you lost sight of that dream maybe, or maybe you haven't gone all in. And I want to hopefully inspire and remind you that your dreams are possible. And as Les Brown says, you do have greatness within you, but you've got to dare to think larger. So I want to challenge you to do this. Mediocrity is not a comparison to anyone else. It's when you settle for a life that's anything less than you're capable of living or you deserve. And you do deserve so much more. You know, there's two types of people on this world. The first type of person is a person laying on a deathbed with regrets. And the second person is a person that's lying on a deathbed with no regrets. We don't regret the things we do. We regret the things we don't do. So have the courage to relentlessly pursue your dream. Get yourself a mentor. Make a decision to go all in. I would rather go all in and chase my dreams and fail than to never, ever try. So have the courage to get back up, to keep going and relentlessly pursue your dreams until, as Les Brown says, you win.
Beautiful, man. That's perfect. Awesome. All right, man. Well, I appreciate you so much
for having me
on, man. That's a great message. And yeah, look, I look forward to hearing how the book launch goes, and no doubt that you're going to hit those projections. So, man, yeah, thanks again for coming on.
So, thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you.
If you did get some value from this today, please leave a 5-star review on the podcast or check out our YouTube channel and leave a comment below. That would be so appreciated. Catch you next time.